This conference will now be recorded.
Here we already discussed about this Hive managed tables. So, and today's discussion here we are going to discuss about the external tables and a partitioned table. One of the most important concepts, Hive partitioning and Hive bucketing. These are all the two important concepts associated with the Hive while storing data in a final granularity manner. Okay, we will be dealing with what is partitioning and how it differs from bucketing, how to create a partitioned table and to load data. Okay, in terms of manage the table, so as we told, this is the default option. If you create the table by default, it will create it as a managed table. And here both metadata and data is managed by Hive. Whereas in case where you need to use managed table, if you are going to make use of the data stored in HDFS, only using Hive, then you can create as a managed table. Whereas here, if the data is going to be shared apart from Hive, Pig or Spot like this, then in this case, it is not recommended to go for creating a managed table. Here, you need to create an external table. Here, Hive owned only the metadata information. Hive will have a control over the metadata information, and data is not under the control. So it is the user of data, consumer of data. That's all. So you want to explicitly specify. If you want to create an external table, it is not default. You want to explicitly specify a keyword called external. While creating the table, you want to specify a keyword called external. Then only the table will be created as an external table. More importantly, here the location where you have your data. So by default in Hive managed table, the data will be loaded in a default location. Okay, so here what happens here, there is a location by name user Hive warehouse under which automatically all the data will be stored. In our previous session we had a lab which shows you under the location the name of the database folder will be created. Assume we have a database by name 0 under which the table has been created, under which the file, that employee.txt file will be loaded here. Okay, this is the location where we can find the managed table. Whereas see here, the user need to specify the location where the external table need to store the data. Okay, user need to specify the location or table's data. That is the key. So at the time of creation of the table in that location, if data is present, okay, so what happens here is I will make an entry. For example, you are creating a table, employee hyphen external. Let me imagine with employee number, the same table, employee name, the salary, and department. So you specify the location. Here the location that you need to specify should be in HDFS. Okay. The external table looks for the data from HDFS location. So if you specify here in our managed table, either the location can be a Linux file system or it can be a HDFS file system. So default, it looks for from HDFS file system. If your data is present in Linux file system, while loading the data, you need to specify a keyword local. We already discussed. Okay, load data in path, and that time you want to specify in path before in path local. Whereas, sorry, in case of external table, the location of the data need to be in HDFS. Okay, so here when you drop the table, what happens? The metadata as well as the tables data, both the thing will be dropped. Okay, whereas here the metadata alone will be dropped. The tables data won't be disturbed. So these are all the some of the differences between an external table and a managed table. Please make a note of this. Okay, this is clear. Do you have any doubt? Let me create an external table. Okay, how to create an external table and how to load the data into the external table. Okay, so assume that the data file need to be under HDMS. Okay, HDFS file system. So here let I create a data file. Okay, so a small data file with this informations, employee number, employee name, like this. So here the thing is that if you have your data, assume in your HDFS, you have a folder by name user, under which assume that here you have a folder by name Raman. Here you have a folder employee. Okay, under the employee you can have any number of text files. So employee 1.text, employee 2.text, example, any number of text files. Well, you specify the folder employee, or you can directly specify the file employee.text. If you specify at the time of creation of the table, if you specify the folder employee, automatically what are all the files that it is present under the employee folder, the content will be mapped to the table. Here the thing is that if you create this table, okay, and the content that is presented in your already being your data is already present in HDFS, it is linked to the table. Okay, so it will be linked to the table. So whenever the user refers this employee table, automatically it will look into the HDFS location for the employee folder, under which it will have a mapping. How many number of files are there, and what are all the records that it is present on the file by using this Hive Metastore. In this case, Hive Metastore comes into help in locating this. Okay, so now we are going to create an external table. Okay, so here let I create an external table using a keyword external. So create, here you want to use a keyword external, that's all. External table, let I create a table employee, let me make it to specify employee under external. So we have employee number, integer, employee name, string, and then job, string, salary, integer. Okay, so here you want to specify this row format, delimited. Here you want to specify the source fields terminated by, let me make it as a comma as a separator, okay, within a quotes. And then here what you need to have, you need to have a new keyword called location. So when creating a default table, that is your manager table, you no need to specify the location. Here you need to specify the location under user, under Raman. Assume that the user Raman folder already exists. You have a table folder by name employee. Okay. So what happens here, if you don't have any file in this employee table, no issue. So when you issue this select statement, after that when you issue this select statement, select star from employee underscore external, it will return a empty thing, that's all. So after you load the data into the location, so how to load the data, I will let you know. After you load the data file into the location, then if you issue this select statement, it will list the appropriate value. That's all. It is not mandatory. At the time of creation, there should be the data in that particular location. It is optional. Okay. How you expect the data? If doesn't have data, no issue. It will simply create a table without any data into it. Please make a note. Create that external table, doesn't care if a directory or file exists under the specific location or not. It doesn't return any record when you issue a select statement. So here laterally at any point of time, you can place the file there. Okay. Now let me discuss how to create a partitioning table, and then how you can make use of this partitioned table to load the data using some alter statement commands. Okay. So for our practice, before going into that, so here we need to aware of what is partitioning. What is the advantage of going for partitioning? How it differs from this bucketing? Let me discuss. If you want to store the data in a final granularity manner, so if you store data here in terms of external table or a manager table, what happens here? The data will be stored without any granularity. So you will store all the data. Okay. So for example, let me imagine a table by name a customer table. Okay. The customer table. So having the same, let me make it the same employee table. Okay, the company is a global company, so here having offices across globe. Okay, so it is having offices across several countries. So we have a field called country, and we have a state. So here in India, it has branches across 10 different states, such as it has branches at Chennai, Bangalore, etc. Apart from India, it have offices at US, UK, Australia. Like it has offices across 20 locations throughout the globe. Okay, so each location they have in different number of offices across multiple states. That we assume altogether it has offices across 100 locations, which is distributed based upon country and state. So I want to find out some information associated with the country India, and then in specifically the state Chennai. For example, I want to find out the people's working over here. What is the maximum salary of a particular department associated with the Chennai office? So assume that here in this case, the total employee strength is assumed to be 1 lakh. 1 lakh. Okay. Out of which the Chennai office alone having an employee strength of 10,000 employees. The remaining 99,000 employees is distributed across all other country and the associated state branches. So here my requirement is I need to find out the maximum salary of the people working with the Chennai branch. What is the maximum salary and what is the destination? That is my requirement. So in this case, what I need to do, I need to apply a max function, and I need to specify the condition in country and state India. So here, being my area of interest is only in this 1,000 records. What happened here is my query want to go through the remaining 99,000 records, even though it is not needed. The first what will do, my query will check out of this 1 to 1 lakh record. My query will check start from record 1 up to 1 lakh whether the country is equal to India and state is equal to Chennai. That is the first filter that it is applied, and it will get the 1,000 records which satisfies the condition. Second, it will apply the maximum function. It will fetch the salary field and it will apply the maximum function on top of it to get the final output. Here, my query need not necessarily unwantedly will search to the remaining 99,000 records if it is organized under a normal table. Whether it is a normal table or that is a manager table or external table doesn't matter. My query will go through all the 1 lakh records, start from 1 to 1 lakh. So here, if I want to apply some optimization in this searching, what I can do? Here, if I organize the data, so based upon a separate country and separate state, what happened here is, instead of going through unwanted thing, my query will go through only the needed partition. For example, I had created a partition, a physical partition. Okay, so based upon country India. Under India, I had a pod location of in India. I have offices at Tamil Nadu. That is, I have offices at Karnataka. I have offices at Kerala. Office at Maharashtra. Like so, I add a partition. Similarly, I had a partition for US, United States of America. I have an office at Los Angeles. I have office at New York. Like I have office at California. So here, if the data associated with Tamil Nadu is stored here, and data associated with Karnataka will be stored here. in my select query, if under my condition where, okay, state is equal to Tamil Nadu or country is equal to India appears, what happened here is my query will fetch through, assume that we have data, 1000 records here. My query won't go through the remaining data like other informations from country US, country UK, like it won't go through that. It will search only through the particular location where I have data associated with Tamil Nadu, state Tamil Nadu. Okay, so when I partition the table, so here the table has been partitioned in this manner. So here that is the advantage here. Unwantedly, before the query want to pass through 99,000 records, which is not in the area of interest, region of interest. Here, instead of the time taken to passing this 99,000 records for my requirement has been reduced, and it will drastically improve the performance of the query. That is the advantage of going for this partition. Okay, so how to, then another thing, if you are going to partition, you need to specify a field. In this example, it is not mandatory. I can partition based upon only one field. I can specify multiple fields. Okay, field. In this example, we can specify two fields. One is a country, and inside country we can have a sub partitioning called based upon state. Okay, so there is no restriction in specifying the number of fields in determining the partitioning. It is up to the choice you need to decide based upon your requirement. Okay. Here the thing is that, so how many number of partitions that may happen? For example, let me take this example. If you are having 50 countries, okay, in your data set, in your table of employee, under the country, you have 50 unique values of a country instance, then the number of partitions will be 50 partitions will be there. So country like India, US, UK, similarly to that of Pakistan, Japan, etc., etc. Okay, so Australia, like Singapore, right? You have how many values on that particular field that you are going to partition. That much of partition has been created. So if you go for partition, so if it is not under the control of developer, okay, it is purely depends upon the number of unique values associated with the field. Whereas in case of bucketing, the another concept which is more or less similar to partitioning, it is to use to split and store the data in a fine granularity manner. Here it is the number of partitions that you are going to perform is under the control of the developer. The developer specifies the partition. That is the admin or developer, whoever may be. We can specify the number of partitions, irrespective of any number of unique value on the country. Here, instead of 50 partitions, I want to make it as 5 partitions. Okay, at the time of creating the bucket, I specify 5 partitions, and all the records will be stored across these 5 partitions only. Please make a note. Okay. Here, what is the concept behind this? It involves a concept called hash function. The bucketing involves a concept called hash function. This is the formula. Okay. Assume that you have in your table, the employee table, under the country field, you have unique values. Okay, like India, US, Singapore, Japan, UK, India. Once again, assume you have this much of value, Australia, and you have specified 5 buckets. Okay, what happened? It will create 5 buckets. Buckets are nothing but the container which holds the data, similar to directory. Okay, bucket 1, bucket 2, bucket 3, bucket 4, and bucket 5. Index value of a bucket starts from 0 for bucket 1, bucket 2, bucket 3, bucket 4. Totally 5 buckets. Starts from 0, therefore 5 buckets. What happens here is it applies a function called hash function. What this hash function do? The hash function will take an input. The input can be a string or can be integer, and it produces a unique output value for the given string. For example, take India as input, and the hash function produces the output. Let me imagine the unique value is 6. Even if this input string India, okay, here the corresponding binaries, imagine it is, these are all the binaries. Even if there is a change in a single bit of the given input, what happened is the output value will be generated as a different value. By the way, we can able to identify whether the given input is subjected to any change or not. Okay, for US, it will take US. Imagine it produces the output 8. For Singapore, it produces the output 9. Like any unique value based upon this input string, the hash function, when it is inputted with that input string, it will produce a unique output value. So that is the concept behind this hash function. If you want to get more deep information, you can Google this hash function. Okay, there are several algorithms for hash function like Reprimat, SHA. There are several algorithms which is beyond the scope of the discussion. What we need to know, we need to aware about the concept behind this bucketing. So it will generate the output. The output modulus the number of buckets. Example, in this case, the number of buckets is 5. Okay, this is the number of buckets that we are going to create. So this is the output of the input string. In this case, we are going to read from the country modulus 5. It gives us a reminder. Therefore, the information associated with India will be placed in the bucket 1. Okay, here it will be placed in the bucket 1. That is your 0th bucket. Sorry, here in this bucket 1. Okay, so here what happened here, 8 modulus 5, and then the remainder is 3. Okay, here it will be placed in the bucket. The information associated will be placed in the bucket. So let me imagine. So Singapore, value produced is 9. 9 modulus 5, which is here. The Singapore will be produced here. Okay, let UK assume that it have a value of 10. 10 modulus 5, then the remainder is 0. UK will be placed in the bucket 0. Like Australia, assume Australia is 11. Okay, 11 modulus 5, the remainder is 1. Australia will be placed under the bucket 1. So similarly, whatever value that it is having under the country field, all the associated records will be stored based upon this formula. It will be stored in any one of the following 5 buckets. The thing is that if it is a partition, it is the number of partition is not under our control. Whereas if we go for this bucketing, the number of partitions will be under the control of the developer. That is the major work serves for same purpose. For the optimizing the query retrieval efficiency, either we go for partitioning or we go for bucketing. I will let you know the scenarios where we can have some partitioning, where we can have some bucketing. If we are going to perform some advanced joining across multiple tables, here bucketing is the best option. We will be discussing different types of join. One such join is a bucket join. Okay, high bucket join. I will let you know at the time of discussion what is the advantage if we go for bucketing and what is the drawback if we go for this partitioning. Okay, so both serves for same purpose. This is the way by which you can create a table in a bucketing or based upon the partitioning concept, and you can store data, and while retrieval it will perform a better optimized efficiency. Okay, is clear?
Yes, Raman.
Any questions, any doubts with respect to the concept associated with partitioning bucketing? You please put up.
So, how do you create a bucket and a partition?
How?
How do we create a bucket and a partition?
First, let me start with the partition. We will go step by step. We can create bucket and a partition. Okay.
Sorry, I can't hear you. What?
First, we create a bucket and we create a partitioning, and then I will let you know how to combine these two things. That is your question. You need both partition and bucket, or what you are asking for? I couldn't get your question.
No, I wanted to know like how do we create a bucket? So, how do we create a table and stuff? Like create table. Um, whatever Teru or whatever, then create.
Sanjay, this is the concept. You please write. You have just now started with the concept. It is not the end of it. Okay, we use the cluster, a keyword called cluster for creating bucket, and we use a keyword called partitioning for create partitioning. My question is whether conceptually is it any, do you need any clarification? I yet to start how to create
No.
partition. Please wait. Let me create a table for our practice. Having a data set. I'm going to create a table by name, a customer with a customer ID and customer name and customer city and then customer street and zip code. Okay. So this is the table that I am going to create for my practice. Here, this table is going to be partitioned by the following field. Okay, I am going to partition the table based upon these two fields. One is country, and within country, I am going to partition a sub-partition going to create. These are all the two partitioning fields. So let me create the table here. First, at the time of creation of the table, I no need to specify the partition field. That is the key thing. That I create a table, that I create what I am going to discuss. I am going to discuss about Hive managed partitioned table, PT. We are going to discuss about Hive managed partitioned table. Okay, create table. The name of the table as customer ID, which is an integer, customer name as a string, customer city as a string, customer street as a string, and the zip as an integer. Okay. So what I need to specify here, I need to specify only the 5 fields. I no need to specify the partitioning fields. I will let them know what is the partitioning field by using a keyword partitioned. I need to specify the keyword partitioned by. Here I need to specify what is the field I am going to partition in. Country, a field by name country, which is a string, a field by name state, which is a string. Okay, and then I can specify the format as usual, row format delimiter. And then fields are terminated by comma as a separator. In my source, fields are terminated by comma as a separator. Okay, that's all. That is enough. So here, at the time of creation, after that, if you issue this describe customer table, it will output only the 5 fields. It won't output the country and state field. Please make a note. It will specify that the table customer containing 5 fields, ID, name, city, street, and zip. Okay, it doesn't give any information. So after loading the data only, it will create these additional fields, the country and state field. How to load data? As usual, load data local in path. Here you need to specify. Okay, assume that under home, under the user Raman. Okay, so here we have under Hadoop. Let me take the same example. Under the Hadoop, so we have some data associated with Tamil Nadu. Assume that we have a folder by name Tamil Nadu, under which Tamil Nadu.txt. The data associated load data local in path slash under this local file system home Hadoop. We assume you have a folder under which you have a data by name Tamil Nadu.txt. I need to specify into table the table name customer. Here you need to specify the partition field. Partition. Here you need to specify the value for the first country equals India. Come on. State equals Tamil Nadu. Here you need to specify. You should have your data on the appropriate location. So the Tamil Nadu data need to be loaded into the Tamil Nadu folder. If you have data associated with Karnataka, it should be loaded under the same home under the Hadoop. You should have a folder by name Karnataka, and the Karnataka data need to be loaded here. So Andhra data need to be loaded here. Okay, similarly, you need to have under, let me make it under Hadoop. Yeah, India folder by name India, under which Karnataka. Similarly, you can have a folder by name US, and you have data associated with California, US data associated with New York, like those informations. You should specify the exact location where you have the data appropriate to the partition. Okay, so this is the way by which you need to load the data. At the time of loading the data only, you can specify what is the partition in an explicit manner. This is one option. So here there is a concept called dynamic partitioning. At that time, you no need to specify the country or state. We will discuss one by one. So what is the problem associated with this and how those things has been resolved in dynamic partitioning, we will let you know. So being we are starting with, so here if you create a partition the table, so at the time of creation of the table, you want to specify the 5 fields and you want to explicitly specify the partition field using the partition column. Okay, partition file. And after that, only 5 fields will be listed if you go for describe the table. And while using the load statement only, you need to specify under which partition you are going to load this data. Okay, after issuing this load statement, what happens here is, if you issue this, it will load the data and it will create a corresponding macro disk task to load the data. Now the data will be loaded into the table. Okay, so here how the data will be loaded in this case. So here in this case, a folder will be created, being it is a managed table where the data will be loaded. So here the data will be loaded under the following location. The data will be loaded under the following location, under user type warehouse. Okay, here under which you have a field by name. Okay, so the database name thiru.db. So under which you have a field by name, a partition by name, country is equal to India. Okay, under a country is equal to India, you have another partition called states equal to Tamil Nadu. So under which the data will be loaded. The Tamil Nadu text file will be loaded under the following location. Okay. So
what about the customer table? It won't show.
This is the partition. Under this Thiru, you have a country. Under country is equal to India, states equal to partition. It is created here. Here all the data associated with this will be loaded here. So you are asking for the customer table.
Yes, because in customer table only we are loading this, right?
I missed that. Under customer, you have countries equal to India. Similarly, there will be a separate partition based upon the partition field. If you are going to load data, okay, I will make it as a separate so that it will be easy for you. under user, hive, warehouse, you have this database under which you have this table. Here you have a directory called countries equal to India. Under countries equal to India, you have another directory called states equal to Tamil Nadu. So under which the Tamil Nadu.txt file will be loaded. Similarly, if you have another data, countries equal to India, under which states equal to, if you have specified any name by name Andhra, under Andhra, the file andhra.txt will be loaded. Similarly, if you have any other country, countries equal to US, and then states equal to California means here there will be a folder under which the data associated with this California will be loaded. So whenever the user issues a query, select start from the customer. Okay, where country is equal to US instance. What happened here is, so it will search only through the partitions. In the country is equal to US, you have data associated with all the states, California, New York, Los Angeles, like. The query won't look for other partitions. It will look into the partitions where the data associated with the US has been stored. If I look for select start from customer, where country is equal to US and states equal to California or states equal to New York instance, it will look only for this partition records. It won't look for records belonging to California, Los Angeles or other country. The query will directly look into the records associated with New York without worrying about other records. That is the way by which we can able to achieve optimum performance in terms of its retrieval speed. If we have data load under the partitioning concept. Yes, we can make a verification after creation of the table. If you make a verification by specifying Hadoop DFS, if you specify the user hive warehouse through database, now you can find a table, a folder by name country, customer, and the country is equal to India and state equal to Tamil Nadu has been created. You can make a verification and you can use this cat command to verify what information has been stored here. Yes. Okay, let me assume that. So I performed a multi-table apart, that is incremental. So each and every, you have Tamil Nadu.txt. Laterally, I have another set of entry, Tamil Nadu 1.txt. I have another set of entry, Tamil Nadu 2.txt. I have 3 files. While loading data, whether I need to specify all the files one by one, the answer is no. What I need to specify, simply I can specify only the, okay, so I will let you know, it will be confusing. I will let you know at the time of creation of external table, and that's the location only this concept arises. Now is it clear? You leave it. Is it clear how to create a partition and how to load the data associated with the partition? How to do a query?
Yes, Raman. I just have a doubt. Thing is,
Yeah.
so you said load from local, so we are loading the data from the local LFS, right?
Yeah.
So that's so when you're loading from HDFS, we have to say load from external. What do we have to say when we put the command?
So what? So here, what is your question? Please, can you repeat a little bit
No,
louder?
you said like we are loading from local. The command was load from local from so and so path to this customer table. So when
Yeah.
this is from LFS, right? So if you have to load from HDFS means?
So no need to specify the local keyword. That's all.
Oh, okay, that's it. Okay, fine, fine.
Load data directly. You can specify the in path. Okay. Yes. Any other clarifications? Okay, so now this here we are going to see how we can create a external partitioned table. So what we have discussed here is external default high managed partitioned table. Okay, what we have discussed here. We are going to discuss about external partitioned table. So here when we use external partition external table, so here we often need to use data using Hive, but which is owned by some other tools. Okay, so we already know that the data file is already present in your HDFS, but it is owned by some other tools like Pig or Spark or etc. etc. So here what we need to do, if you use manager table, so we want to do unnecessary work of copying data into the Hive. Okay, we just want to map the data into the Hive. We are going to perform some queries and we get the output, and after that we will remove the mapping. The data will be keep there at the original place. It won't move to the Hive locations. So if the data need to be kept in the original location without moving into the Hive, and then we go for a concept called Hive external table. Okay, while you are working with this Hive external table, assumes that the Hive assumes that it is not the owner of the data, or it is not the owner of the data files that is associated with the data. Okay, it maintains only the metadata information associated with the data in its Hive metastore. When you drop the external table, Hive won't remove the data as of your managed table. In case of managed table, being both the data and the metadata, being it is managed by Hive, you drop, it will drop both the information. Both the table and the metadata will be dropped. Whereas in case of external table, it will keep the data without any disturbance, and it will only remove the metadata information. Just it will drop the link that it is associated with the data location of the consent table. So that is the difference between the external table and the managed table. So let me create an external table, and how you can specify the partitions for external table. Let me look into that. Okay, so the information, if it is an external table, the condition is that you need to have your data only on your HDFS. Please make a note. In our previous example, you can have your data either in your local file system or in your Hadoop file system. At the time of loading, if you have your data in local, you specify a keyword local. If not, there is no need to specify a keyword local. Default it will look for into the HDFS. Whereas if it is an external table, the data file need to be placed only on the HDFS. That is the important thing. Okay, let me create a table for the same purpose and do what happens here. How to create an external table? It's just the same thing, all other are different. You want to specify the keyword external, and also at the time of creation of the table, you need to specify the location for the table. Create. You need to specify a keyword external. Okay, that is important. Table. Okay. Customer. Let you do differentiate customer external table. You have a customer ID. Once again, it is an integer. You have a customer name, which is a string. You have a customer city. So you can make any. So just an example. City is a string. You have a street. Street is a string. Okay, city is a string, or string in this state is a string. and you have a zip code as an integer. Okay, so what you need to specify, you have to specify the row format delimited and fields terminated by separator, comma as a separator, and here you need to specify an additional thing called location. Okay, here you want to specify, so location, imagine under user, so you have a folder by name, assume that Raman, under which you have a folder by name TN, Tamil Nadu. Okay, so under which the data associated with Tamil Nadu has been loaded. Let me imagine. Okay, so Tamil Nadu, we have this Tamil Nadu.txt file. Let me imagine. The data need to be presented here. So what you need to specify, if it is an external table, you need to specify the location at the time of creation of the table. If this location already contains data, when you issue this select statement, okay, so select start from the customer underscore external, it will display the data. That is the concept that we have discussed with respect to external table. Now, how to create an external partitioned table? Okay, so the key thing is that the external table doesn't care if the directory Tamil Nadu or the file Tamil Nadu.txt exists or not. If it is exists, it will map the entry. Imagine that the table has been created with ID, in name, city, street, etc. Okay, if the data is present, a link will be mapped between the data which is in your HDFS location and the table metadata information which is present in the Hive metastore. The data won't be copied. So you please make a note here. In your Hive managed table, the data will be copied into the Hive location. Whereas in the external table, the data won't be copied. Just a link similar to that of a pointer. Okay, that's just a link between the Hive table and the data location has been made. The data won't be copied here. Okay, that is the important difference associated with manager and external table. Okay, when you drop this external table, the link will be dropped. That's all. The link will be disconnected. So data will be remains there. The link alone will be disconnected. Okay, so this is the way by which you need to create the external table. So how to create a partitioned external table? Okay, so here in this creation of this partitioned table, you need to create external table. The same thing. So under which what you need to specify. Here you need to specify the partition. That's all. Okay, let I do this. Instead of enter, I need to specify the location. I can directly create a table here. Okay, create external table. So here I need to specify the table zip integer. Here row format delimiter fields terminated by comma. Okay. Here intermediately I need to specify partitioned by. Okay. After the end of the field, I need to specify partitioned by country equals. So here string and comma state is a string. That's all. This is the only difference. Row format delimiter fields terminated by. So it will create an external table. Okay. This is the entry that you need to make, which differentiate an external table and a managed table. So here, how to add a data? So you can use a alter table command to add a partition. So you can use alter table to add a data into the appropriate partitions. Okay. How to load the data if it is an external table? Here, this is the command to load the data. alter table. Let me make it as a customer underscore external table. You need to give this look add partition. We need to specify the partition class. Country equals India, comma state equals Tamil Nadu, close. Here you need to specify the location where you look for table. Location you need to specify under user, under assume Raman, under the Tamil Nadu folder. Okay, so here you can directly specify the folder, or within that folder you can specify the text file. So this is the way. What happened here is alter table customer add partition country is equal to India, and then when you specify the location, the data associated, it will create a particular partition. Then after that, if you issue this describe table name, describe customer underscore external. So if you issue describe customer underscore the external, after creation of the external table, it will list only 5 fields. It won't list the country and state field. After alter table, add the partition. If you issue customer underscore external, it will list you 7 fields, the partitioning country field and the state field. Okay, this is the way by which you can create an external table and to add the data associated with this partitioning by using this alter table. Yes, clear?
Yes, Raman.
You do the practical and come up with the practical, so you have an idea. If not, I will let you know in the next tomorrow session. I will do the practical for that and we can proceed further. So
Okay.
similar to the creation of the partition, you can also draw partition. The command to drop the partition is alter table, table name. Instead of add partition, draw partition customer. Directly you can specify the partition. Okay, we will discuss all those things on tomorrow. Up to this, what we have discussed in today's session, we have started our discussion on the manager table, and we discussed the differences between here, what is partitioning, what is bucketing, and what is the advantage of going for both the things. And we discussed about the external table and how it differs from manager table, and we created a partitioned table based upon both Hive manager partitioned table, and using this load we load the data into the partitioned table, and also we have created Hive partitioned external table, and by using this alter table we load the data associated with the particular partition. Okay, these are all the things that we discussed in today's session. So here you please try to work with that. If you have any doubt, I will show you the demonstration today. What are the first 15 minutes, we will discuss about how to create table and how to do all the things. And after that, we can proceed with further things, dynamic partitioning and etc. etc. Okay. We can have the session at the same tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. The session time is tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. IST to 1.5 hour session, 8:30 a.m. IST. Okay. Saturday and Sunday at the same time. Both Saturday and Sunday we will be having at the same time. Okay, so it may be plus 15 minutes. The end time, start time is 7. Okay, end time may be 8:30 or 8:45. It depends upon how much of time that we took to conclude the concept. So by Saturday and Sunday, we will complete our site completely.
Raman.
Yes.
I have a doubt, Raman. So what's happening using AWS instance? every time, like, after completing everything, like, installing Hive and doing everything, testing, then I'm not able to start the mission the next day because it comes up with the same error message as I told you before.
So,
It doesn't let me, like, log into the mission. It keeps coming up with the error message saying, refused our keys, server refused our key. Do you know why?
and so I didn't face this problem. When I inquired, they too told that if the key is corrupted, then only the problem will be like that. So let me discuss this thing on tomorrow at free time. I connect with your machine. I will go through the logs associated with the machine. The logs will know the difference. It may the log associated with your AWS instance may little bit give some information. What is the problem? We can discuss on
This happen.
tomorrow after our class has been over.
This happens only after, like, when I do SSH keygen. Then when we copy paste to the authorized keys, after that only I'm not able to log into the instance.
No, each and
Okay, we can check.
we can, no issue. I am running time today. I want to go to office. We will check it directly by connecting to your machine on tomorrow. Okay?
No
On day of
worries.
the time appropriate to both of us. So let me
Okay.
check. Thanks a lot.